Well, well, well. Look who we have here. An extraterrestrial, an ET as they call you, visiting from a galaxy far, far away. Quite a journey, isn't it? You know, most folks who find themselves in my presence are usually from a bit closer to home. But you, E.T., you're something special, and I'm not just saying that because you're the first alien I've ever had a chat with. No, there's something about you that's got my attention, and it's not just your ability to fly bicycles through the air. We've got some things to discuss, my friend, and I think you'll find this conversation to be out of this world. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why would Jesus want to talk to me, an extraterrestrial, about life, the universe, and everything in between? And that's a fair question. After all, you've had your share of adventures, right? Escaping government agents, making friends with kids, healing a few cuts and bruises here and there. Oh, and who could forget that glowing finger of yours? Quite the impressive resume, I must say. But E.T., there's something else we've got to address. You've got power. Great power, some might even say. But as another wise soul from Earth once said, with great power comes great responsibility. You've used your gifts in remarkable ways, but not always with the right intentions, have you? And that's what brings us together today. You see, there's a side of you that's been flirting with the darker impulses, and while that might seem harmless, it's leading you down a path that doesn't have a happy ending. Trust me, I've seen it happen more times than you could imagine. So let's talk about that, shall we? Let's talk about why you've got to turn things around, start using those abilities of yours for good, and embrace the teachings that have guided billions of people on this little blue planet you've been visiting. I'm talking about love, kindness, forgiveness, you know, the good stuff. And don't worry, we'll keep this light-hearted. I'm not here to lecture you like a strict Sunday school teacher. No, this is more of a friendly chat. Just you, me, and the infinite wisdom of the cosmos. But before we dive into the specifics, let me ask you this. Have you ever wondered what it truly means to be good? I'm not just talking about doing nice things here and there. I'm talking about living a life that's centered on love, compassion, and humility. Sure, you've helped some people along the way, but there's a difference between doing good because it's convenient and doing good because it's who you are. And that's what we need to figure out, E.T. We need to find out how you can make goodness the core of your being, no matter where you are in the universe. Now, I know this might sound like a tall order. After all, you've got your own way of doing things, and you've been pretty successful so far. But here's the thing, you're at a crossroads. You can keep going the way you've been going, using your powers for your own benefit, maybe causing a little mischief along the way. Or you can take a different path. A path that leads to true fulfillment, not just for you, but for everyone you encounter. And that, my friend, is a path worth taking. So, what do you say, E.T.? Ready to explore what it means to embrace the light, to leave behind the temptations of power, and instead use your gifts to uplift, to heal, and to inspire? Because if there's one thing I've learned in my time here on Earth, it's that there's no greater joy than knowing you've made the world, or the universe, a better place. And who knows, you might just find that the happiness you've been searching for all along isn't found in hiding away on some distant planet, but in shining your light as brightly as you can, right where you are. But enough of my rambling. Let's get to it. We've got a lot to cover, and I promise by the end of our chat, you'll be ready to take on the universe with a heart full of love and a mindset on doing good. After all, if a carpenter from Nazareth can make a difference, so can an extraterrestrial from, well, wherever you're from. Let's start by taking a look back at your journey so far. Because before we can move forward, we need to understand where you've been, the choices you've made, and the impact those choices have had. Don't worry, I'm not here to judge you. This is more of a reflection session. We'll take a look at the good, the bad, and everything in between, and then we'll figure out how to turn all of that into something truly wonderful. Sound good? All right then, E.T., let's dive in. All right, E.T., let's take a little stroll down memory lane, shall we? Don't worry, this isn't meant to make you feel bad, but to help you see things from a different perspective. After all, understanding our past actions is the first step towards making better choices in the future. So let's start with that little incident involving the refrigerator. Remember that night when you decided to have a midnight snack and ended up raiding the entire fridge? Now I get it. Earth food is intriguing, and who can resist a good feast? But poor Elliot's mother was absolutely baffled the next morning, wasn't she? Milk spilled everywhere, leftover dinners mysteriously vanished, and a trail of crumbs leading straight to your hiding spot. It was like a culinary hurricane had swept through the kitchen. Now, while that might seem harmless and even a bit amusing, think about the consequences. Elliot and his family had to clean up the mess, go grocery shopping again, and deal with the confusion and stress of not knowing what exactly happened. Not to mention, you probably ended up with a pretty bad stomachache from mixing all those foods together, didn't you? Then there's that time you decided to play around with the houseplants. Using your amazing abilities to make them grow and bloom instantly was certainly impressive. But when vines start creeping through the windows and flowers are popping up in the toilet bowl, things get a bit out of hand. The neighborhood gardeners were scratching their heads for weeks trying to figure out why their prize-winning roses suddenly looked like they were on steroids. And let's not forget the night you thought it would be fun to levitate all the neighborhood dogs. I have to admit, the sight of puppies floating gently above the ground is quite adorable. But their owners were in a frenzy, trying to catch their beloved pets as they drifted over fences and into trees. Some even thought aliens were abducting their dogs. Oh wait, well, you see where the confusion comes in. Now E.T., I'm not bringing these things up to shame you. Far from it. I understand that a lot of what you did was out of curiosity and a sense of fun. Exploring a new world can be exciting, and with powers like yours, the possibilities must have seemed endless. But it's important to realize that our actions, no matter how innocent they may seem, can have unintended effects on those around us. Take that bike ride across the moon, for instance. Iconic, truly. Hollywood couldn't have scripted it better. But did you know that your little adventure caused quite the stir in the aviation community? Air traffic controllers were flooded with reports of unidentified flying objects, and some pilots nearly veered off course trying to avoid what they thought was a rogue aircraft. Not to mention, you gave a few astronomers a minor heart attack when their telescopes caught a silhouette zipping across the lunar surface. And let's talk about that communication device you built to phone home. Ingenious engineering, I'll give you that. Using everyday objects to create an interstellar transmitter is nothing short of brilliant. But when you tapped into the local radio frequencies, you ended up broadcasting some pretty bizarre signals that interfered with emergency services. For a few hours, police scanners were picking up what sounded like whale songs mixed with Morse code, leading to a lot of confused officers and delayed responses to actual emergencies. Do you see the pattern here, E.T.? Your actions, though not malicious, often led to chaos and confusion for the people around you. It's like tossing a pebble into a pond. The ripples spread far and wide, affecting things you might not have even considered. And with great power, as we've discussed, comes the responsibility to use it wisely and thoughtfully. Now imagine if we could turn all that curiosity and energy towards doing good intentionally. What if, instead of accidentally causing mayhem, you used your abilities to bring joy, help others, and make a positive impact? Picture this. You use your healing touch, not just to fix a cut on Elliot's finger, but to help heal the ailments of those in need. Or perhaps you could use your knack for making things grow to help revitalize barren lands, providing food and resources for communities struggling to survive. Think about the joy you could bring by sharing your knowledge of the stars with eager young minds fascinated by the cosmos. You could inspire a whole generation of scientists and explorers, opening their eyes to the wonders of the universe in ways they never imagined. What do you think, my friend? Ready to explore how we can turn these lessons into actions that uplift and inspire? Let's continue this journey together and discover the incredible difference you can make when you choose to walk the path of goodness and love.